In Bangladesh, there is a lot of opportunities. Why? Because you still need to develop. But in here, I can see 10 opportunities every day. The problem is that the environment is not for the foreign investment. And one thing that is very important, and this is a message.
Good morning, viewers. Welcome to another exciting episode of Mumtaz Herbal Products Presents Voice of Excellence, only on CDFM 96's official Facebook page. This is Sadid Adnan Wahid, your host for today's show, and today we have a very special guest in here. Today, our guest is the esteemed chairman of the European Union Chamber of Commerce, Ms. Nuria Lopez. Good morning, ma'am. Welcome to our show, Mumtaz Herbal Product Presents Voice of Excellence. How are you doing?
I'm fine, and thank you for inviting me today to your show.
The pleasure is ours, and we are very delighted to have you on this show. So, ma'am, you have been living in Bangladesh for more than 30 years, and you are a very successful entrepreneur. And on top of that, you are the chairman of the European Union Chamber of Commerce in Bangladesh. So, initially when you started, back in your childhood, did you ever envision yourself sitting in this chair?
The truth is no. It's coming. You just move in your way, and you just take the opportunities that they are arising. What I can say is I was good in taking the opportunities when they come. And I have this opportunity, I use it, and I'm extremely happy.
So what actually inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
And here, well, first I was coming to here as a customer. And it was like over 30 years ago. So I am half Bangladeshi, half Spanish. And when I came in here, and as I say, I was a customer, and that company went into bankruptcy at one point. First they went in Mirpur, and then they moved to EPZ. It was a Korean company. And I was so happy with the relation I have with everybody that for me it was a disaster. And certainly when everybody came to me and said, "Man, why don't you just make a factory yourself?" I said, well, now I start thinking about it. I make few numbers, and I have all these people around me that I like anyhow, and I trusted them. So I started. That was back in, I was a customer in the first 4 years or something like that. So it was something like 1996 or 1997 or something like that I made my first factory. Very tiny and a small factory. The standards on that time, they were not like the standards now in the RMG. It was, I still remember going to the stadium market to buy the furniture because we didn't have Otobi yet in here to buy things and all those. It was a different time, and I really like it in that time anyhow.
Initially, which clothing items were your company producing?
My first factory was for caps, baseball caps.
Oh.
Was not even garments. Then I saw the opportunity to do garments as well. It was, the garments that we used to make on that time were not the garments that we can produce now. It was like t-shirts, polo shirts, and things very basic. So I moved from the caps into the garments. And then I make my second unit, that was Thalon Knitting, which is the existing one. And it's not a huge one. I keep it into a normal middle size because it's easy to handle. And after that, I also I went into another sector as well. I brought one of the big brands of Spain in the ceramic tiles.
What do you like most about this country?
But I like the vibrant people in the business community. I have to say, and this is really true, Spanish people and Bangladeshi people, we have a lot of things in common. We are family-oriented people.
Exactly.
We are noisy. We like to engage each other. We are very social. We are open up very quickly. So that is when I am in Bangladesh, I don't see much difference. There are some cultural difference, but not much. Exactly with my people, my friends, my Bangladeshi friends, I have no any problem. I love to be a part of because it's, as I say, it's family-oriented, and sometimes I struggle when the woman try to separate from the man. We also do sometimes in Spain, and I try to keep everybody together. But for me, it's very easy to, I identify myself and I connect very well with Bangladesh.
How fluent are you in Bangla? Have you learned the language?
Oh,
wow.
I try so many times, and I do understand. Basically, when I got into conversations, I know what you are talking about. And I have the normal taratari. When I am in my factory, when I have to talk to my workers, well, I do, no problem. But I cannot keep a fluent conversation. I have to. This is one of the things I am more embarrassed about. Because everybody around me talks in English anyhow.
During your time in here, what significant changes have you observed in Bangladesh's financial landscape, socio-economic development, and overall business?
Well, when we are talking about Bangladesh 30 years ago and the Bangladesh we see now, it is you can see the big difference, and that difference you can even see it from people that was out of the country for 1 or 2 years and then they come back. You can see the change in the country. I mean, roads, buildings, construction. I mean, remember Gulsan 30 years ago and Gulsan now with all these big buildings and all these,
If you put two like aerial photos side by side, you won't be able to recognize.
Exactly, and even Uttara. Because I am living in Uttara. I am not like other foreigners living in Gulsan. I live in Uttara. You can see Uttara before and now. But again, which maybe is worse, because Uttara was very well organized on that time, and Gulsan is now totally different anyway. So that was number one. And basically the perception, the flyovers, the cars on the street, on the roads, traffic problems that before we didn't have so many. So this is one of the things that is changing, and it's changing a lot. And this is not happening in other countries, like because we have already been developed. So you don't see significant changes in 1 or 2 years. But in Bangladesh, when you are 1 or 2 years out, for the people they always say, "Wow, it's changing, it's changing." We could have done it better, maybe, yes, but we have done it anyway. And then for me, one of the significant changes is the participation of the woman on the labor in the labor force, because that is giving them the chance to understand that they are also participating in the economy of the family, that they are bringing support to the family, and they are also going outside of the house, which makes them be more confident about themselves. And I think that this is really good that Bangladesh have the RMG sector, because women are participating. It's easy. We need to understand that for a woman to work in a country where education, like 30 years ago, was not really strong, it is very difficult to have a job. But the garment sector is okay for that. You can
because it's skill-based.
Yeah, it's skill-based, and they are very skillful. Believe me, they are really good on that. So that allows them to participate on that, which means a country cannot develop if woman is not participating in the labor force. And in Bangladesh, this is happening. And the other one thing is education, because by RMG is developing and is increasing, the middle class is also increasing. There is all the children now more or less attends to a school. We can improve education. For sure, we have a lot to improve. And basically, we have to improve education because we need more skilled workforce. We need to go into not only garment sector, in other areas. We have to pay attention to that because this is one of the barriers we have. But anyhow, education is there. And I am happy about that. I'm happy to see how they are. I mean, I see my people, the people that have been working with me in the last 30 years, and I see how they are developing, how they have improving their status and their life standards and everything. So that's probably basically the big changes to the woman participation in the labor force.
Well, sustainability is a shared global concern nowadays. How does the European Union Chamber of Commerce addresses these environmental challenges, and are there any initiatives put in place to promote more sustainable business practices in Bangladeshi businesses?
Okay, for us, I mean, not only for just the European Union Chamber of Commerce, but for Europe in general, for the European Union in general, sustainability is one of the goals that we want to, and we are probably one of the leaders of the world to try to implement those kinds of new practices and take more care of the environment. European Union is doing that. Also, our European Union companies, like our buyers in Bangladesh, they will be extremely concerned. European Union is also going to put a strong legislation about environmental and sustainability issues. So we are going to be into whatever we are going to create right now in the European Union Chamber. We are going to create working groups to work in different areas, right? Some things that they have. But one of the working groups, for sure, it's been since the beginning, we have decided is going to be on sustainability. What we have to do is, first, we are getting a lot of ideas on how to implement it, how to engage with different institutions, and how to bring, especially to the private sector, the challenges that we have, because we have to commit to do changes into our production systems and such to be able to match the requirements that the legislation is going to be requesting from us. And sometimes legislations and such are very difficult. You can translate this into, look guys, what you have to do is this. So we'll be engaging now. We have a lot of members in the chambers that they are really encouraging and they are really interested on those. And they will be taking the leadership on this working group and creating and just choosing what are the areas where they want to start quickly in interacting with Bangladesh. But probably we will be very soon getting seminars, webinars, and telling people, look, do that, recommend, things like that. So we are not waiting until the end when the problem will come that we cannot export because we are not ready to do. So we are going to be paying a lot of attention, and we need to understand as well that Bangladesh really needs to pay attention to it. We have to develop a lot. Development means sometimes that you have to really do it in the proper way, or you will pay a high price also in the environmental degradation of the country. And Bangladesh is paying a big price on it. You know, we are in a situation
lots of emissions, lots of waste like thrown into the rivers.
Exactly, and then we'll have also more floods, more problems, and you know, climate change is happening whether people want to take it or not. And we look at what happens.
We can see that. I mean,
you can see that we never have floods in Spain like we are having now, and we have even 200 people dead just 3 weeks ago. So this legislation is going to be stronger for sure. We need to be adapting very quickly. We will be in the chamber for sure. We are going to be having a very active working group related to the sustainability and to the environmental issues.
But since you are a very big entrepreneur in here, you have your own factory. How much are our businesses adapting to these standards? Have you seen them taking any initiatives?
Yes, obviously. It's already been started. You can see a lot of LED factories in Bangladesh. People are conscious about it, but it's still not enough. But the question is, we have to put the guidelines. Sometimes it's not easy to understand what you have to do to become more, you know, for instance, in Bangladesh, we have to pay attention to recycling. Recycling is a must. Everybody's saying, not in here, you maybe don't listen what happens outside, but in Europe, you will see many times talking, the garment industry is contaminating a lot. Okay, we are depending on the garment industry. We cannot reduce the garment industry. We cannot reduce our exports. What we have to do is to tell the world we are exporting this much, but we are also recycling also this much. So whatever we are putting into the chain again comes and a big percentage from the recycling process. That will help us also to prove that we are worried about what we do.
Could you please clarify about the qualifications or criteria required for companies to gain membership in the European Union Chamber of Commerce?
Okay, we have different criteria because we have different kinds of memberships. The memberships are European companies that they have more than 50% of their shareholders from European Union countries. They are automatically accepted. Then we also have another criteria for the bilateral chambers of European Union countries in Bangladesh, like the Spain-Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce, the French-Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce, and all those. And they also can be members through if they are endorsed by their embassy. And then we also have the local community that we also have members from the local community that they have business, or they are expecting to have business, and they have good standards and good reputation. In that case, that they are required, they will be approved they have to be approved by the board, and they will be required to have to comply with some criteria that we are putting. But basically, we are having both European companies and also local companies. But it's true as well that the board of the chamber the majority of the board will always be in the hands of European companies, because we want to keep the identity of a European Union Chamber of Commerce. But also local companies with reputation, they will be allowed into. And we're more than happy to have them on board, because don't forget that European companies can be investors or wherever, but importers are Bangladeshi companies. And
thanks a lot, ma'am, for giving us the time amidst your busy schedule. But before we leave, we have a gift for you from our sponsor, which is Mumtaz Herbal products.
Wow, very nice. Thank you very much. Wow, I have a lot of things I can use it here. My God. Thank you very much.
My
Thank you.
pleasure. And since you are a beautiful woman, I think these will come of use.
I am a
These
very
will be
old,
of use.
I am a very old woman also, so that's why I can use lamatos. And thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak to your audience.
The pleasure is mine, and thanks to you for having us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.